Poultry vaccines are made to prevent chickens from diseases, but when it is done wrongly, it won't prevent diseases, rather it will add to the disease. In this video, I will share some reasons why vaccines may kill your chickens even before the arrival of diseases. This is week 2 video in the series of comparing the growth rate of Agrited and Said, two different hatcheries that produce rostrioid birds in Nigeria. In this video, we'll be comparing the growth rate of their week 2 results, and at the same time we'll be lecturing ourselves on what can cause mortality in poultry farming. While checking the week 2, which is the 14 weight of our Agrited and Said, we'll be lecturing ourselves on the major causes of mortality from week 2 in broilers farming. So while watching, pay attention, listen to these teachings on what can result to high mortality in your farm within the first 2 weeks and above. So the continuation of medication we gave from day 8 to day 14 will be displayed on the screen. You can jot them down. From previous video you can get the rest medication. Go to the previous video on comparing the growth rate of Agrited versus Said, the day 1 and the week 1 video. You check, you see the medication and the procedure. Also, if you want to buy a quality day-old birds, you can use the number on the screen displayed earlier on the booking of day-old to get your quality day-old birds within Nigeria. And if you have any consultation, any inquiry, you can contact Agrited Farm via the number on the screen. Today, our broiler birds, rostrioid broilers, are 14 days. We'll be checking their 14 days weight, which is 2 weeks. Now, we are experimenting. If this is your first time, we are experimenting. We want to check the growth rate of rostrioid broilers produced by two different hatcheries, which are Agrited and Said. We want to check if both hatchery can give us the same result or similar result within the same interval of time after subjecting the birds to the same condition and feeding plus medication. So we are experimenting this. We started this first video, the second one, this is the third video. So if you have mixed any of the experiments, you can go back to our channel, check the previous video, and you will be able to follow up. This is the 14th video with recording of our rostrioid birds. We are checking, we want to compare the growth rate of these two hatcheries using same species of broilers. So the first one is our Agrited, and you can see we are using a gray marker to indicate, to mark them so that we can differentiate the one that we have weighed from the one we have not weighed. And anything we are having, we are going to subtract the weight of the basin we are putting the birds inside. The basin is weighing 100 grams. So at the end of the day, anything we have will be removing 100 grams. We are weighing 5 birds at a time. We are weighing 5 birds at a time, and we'll be deducting 100 grams from each of the 5 birds weight that we gain. So we'll be checking the average weight at the end, and we'll compare it with average weight of Said. Then we'll check the graphical representation. Take note of the medications that is being displayed on the screen. While the weighing is going on, let me use this opportunity to educate us on the major causes of mortality at this period of farming, which is around 2 weeks. And the major causes of mortality at this age is vaccine failure. Vaccine failure. From time to time, vaccination will fail. There are many factors that could be responsible for vaccine failure in poultry farming. Many factors. And in poultry farming medication, the major objective should be disease prevention through effective biosecurity procedures. You can prevent diseases with effective biosecurity procedure. However, if there is breakdown in the biosecurity program and a disease outbreak occurs in your farm, The vaccination program needs to be adequate and effective to limit losses. A thorough understanding of the causes of vaccine failure will help to prevent such losses in the future. You must have a thorough understanding. Lack of understanding make many farmers to lose their capital. Lack of understanding. So now let me use this opportunity to tell us the causes of vaccine failure. What might make the vaccine to fail while you have administered the vaccine? So please listen to the causes of vaccine failure and try to stop them in the nearest future. The number one way or number one act that can cause your vaccine to fail is when there's a disruption in the storage chain. Most poultry vaccines are to be stored below 7 degrees Celsius from the point of its manufacture to the point of administration. That is, at the point of producing the vaccine to the point of giving the vaccine, this cold chain, the storage temperature should be below 7 degrees Celsius. Most poultry vaccines such as Lasota and Gomboro. So any alteration in the cold chain will render the vaccine to be useless. If you are buying your vaccine from a place that you don't trust the cold chain storage, it's better you don't buy such vaccine, because when the temperature of your vaccine goes above 7 degrees Celsius, most of the vaccine, then it will become useless and it will become poisonous to your birds. When you administer such vaccine, it will lead to vaccine failure. So this is one of the reasons that causes vaccine failure in broilers and in layers, in poultry farming generally, and this can lead to mortality. The number two vaccination error is you vaccinating sick chickens. When your chicken are sick, you are not to vaccinate them. What type of sickness are we talking about? When your sick chickens or when your birds are having CRD or coccidiosis or whichever form of sickness, anything that is far from normality is abnormal. When your birds are having sickness, you are not to vaccinate. The reason is simple. The reason is that when your birds are sick, their immune system tends to be very, very weak, and when you give them vaccine, indirectly the vaccine, which is the weakened form of the organism you are trying to prevent, will overpower the immune system, thereby adding to the sickness or advancing the sickness. So when your birds are weak, please don't vaccinate. When you vaccinate, it will lead to vaccine failure. Another thing you have to take note of to avoid vaccine failure is you are not to use chlorinated water to vaccinate your birds. You are not to use a very hard water, and don't use water that is containing metals, maybe water that you store in a rusting container. So with this, you can prevent vaccine failure. Now let's quickly represent what we'll have at week 2 on our graph. The weight, the average weight of our Agrited and Said. So we are going to, this calibration, this week 2 is not starting from 0. We are not starting afresh. So we stop at the calibration stop at 300. So let's continue with that pattern from 300 to and above. That is 400, 425, 450, upward like that. So we are trying to compare the growth rate at week 3. Remember, if you check the board, day 1 at arrival, Agrited came in with 42.7 gram average weight, while Said came in with 7.7 gram average weight, and the difference was 5 gram, as you can see on the board at arrival. At week 1, there's a slight difference. Agrited moved to an average of 234.5 gram, while Said was 201 gram at week 1, and the difference was 33.27 at week 1. Then this is week 2, so we want to see if there will be a similar difference between the two, or if the gap is becoming closer. Remember, these two hatchery produce the same species of broilers, as we have been informed by their official page, but which we don't know if that is still intact. So we'll be checking the difference. Now Agrited is 577 gram at week 2, while Said is 510 gram at week 2. So the difference between them now will be 577 minus 510 gram, which is equal to 67 gram. So at week 2, the difference between Agrited and Said, Agrited is having 67 gram average weight higher than the Said. So there is the difference at week 2. We see week 1 is just 33, week first day of arrival is just 5 gram. So this is week 2 and this is what we are having. This experiment will continue. Please stay tuned, subscribe to my channel if you are yet to subscribe. We love you and have a nice farming.